Good morning, good morning. Welcome to PN Global News. Thursday, 13th, right? 13th? 14th? Oh my God, that's today. So 14th of September, 2017. Good morning, Dane. Right here, Dane. I'm looking to my left, my right. Good morning, Dane. I don't know what I'm doing, man.
I think you hurt his feelings.
I know, I do. Doc just looked away from you, right?
Yeah, Doc like, man.
But anyway, good morning, Dan. How you doing this morning? Good morning, Shakita. Robbie. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Derek.
I knew it was going to give me some kind of thing. And then also, we got a special guest in the house, Andrew Nash from Minority Business Council, DFW Minority Business Council. We've been knowing Andrew for a long time. We're glad to have Andrew here with us today. Good morning, listeners, viewers. We're still here in Dallas. I think one more week we said we'll stay in Dallas. So I think we'll start to head back to Houston here pretty soon. And I think the tagline has changed from KYND. Does anybody know exactly what the numbers are now? KB?
I don't know.
You don't know it? You remember Chicago? All right, so Oscar, sorry about that. We couldn't remember the tagline of the radio station, so therefore we will get back to the studio and rehearse our taglines next week to understand exactly the dial and let everybody know where we are. So we have PN Global News today, kind of continuing our conversations from last week, talking about millennials and job creation. And this week we're going to discuss, perception, purpose, and process. Wow. You know what I mean? The 3 P's.
Right.
Oh my God. Perception, purpose, and process on the job creation side for millennial kids. But first and foremost, we definitely want to thank everybody for continuing listening. I think we've been doing this now 18 weeks, I believe, and still carrying the show and talking about minority businesses and how we help minority businesses actually gain access to capital. And today, here having Andrew Nash, who has certified all of us as minority businesses, we're going to kind of bring Andrew in and talk about, the certification process, what that looks like, what you really need to do in order to get certified as a minority business to scale, especially for these millennial kids who are coming out having their own businesses and trying to create their own verticals. This is entrepreneurial society. We all know that this is a total entrepreneurial society. So a lot of these kids have to understand that when they really want to get in the game, they got to go get certified as a minority business so they can scale and get to the next level. Andrew. Yes. So we're honored to have you here today to kind of expound on the certification process, how that works, what DFW Minority Business Council look for in any business that's trying to come to get certified as a minority business, also here in Dallas, Texas. Andrew, let's talk to us about it.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm a fan. I put my surface on. You guys are on it.
Oh, thank you.
And like your topics, some great things. I'm a father to a millennial, so I know when you say you hire and fire your son.
Oh, my God. Look here.
Hey, mine don't get no slack.
I know that's right.
So I tell everybody we always go into this discussion that I create that monster. Try to put him in school,
right.
And, tell him he was special and do this, and he believed it. So,
yeah.
But now he has to earn it. So, but I know you're going to talk about that later.
No, I mean, has your son decided what he wants to do?
He not yet. No. Millennials. The good thing about the millennials, they stay focused. They can do anything. They can jump and move. Unlike when we were there,
yeah.
We went to school. We said, when we were little, you asked us what we want to do. We said we want to be a doctor, a lawyer, police officer, and we focused on that. Millennials, they just kind of sit back and we'll just wait to see what I like and come to it. So,
or either they'll go work one job, quit that job, go to the next job, quit that job, go to the next job.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stay there 2 weeks, Dad, but I'm gonna go to this next job. They paying me $2 more, right?
They'll go, and they chase the dollar.
Right, they chase the dollar.
When we were in the workforce,
yeah.
We were there. You had folks that were there 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Millennials, you give them $2 more, they're going up the street.
Easy.
You tell them.
We're talking about you, millennials.
Yeah. And again, no. But there's nothing wrong with that. I think it was an article that came out. We put out that millennials move. If you're sitting at a job for 5 years and you're not progressing, you're stagnant at that point because millennials are moving. They're looking, and it's just a change. It's a change of culture. So I know, again, we do MBE certification with the Dallas Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council, and we certify ethnic minority companies to do business with Fortune 500 companies.
Right.
So we're a national organization, 23 affiliate councils throughout the United States. But certification is important if you want to go to that next step. I know you know. I know
Yeah. You guys taught me very well. Like Rodney, you need to get certified.
And we appreciate what you do, because I think the biggest challenge is for MBE company or anybody is the financial part, trying to get money in. If you can't go through traditional, the Comerica banks, the Bank of America, there has to be some other options out there. And again, at the same time, we want to build some capital. We want to build some wealth, with those companies are doing. So again, with the council, we do certification. That's kind of one thing we do. The second thing we do is we connect your business with other businesses. So we do different events, if it's construction based, if it's IT based, or professional services based. We have a lot of different events, from buyers luncheons to trade shows to dinners to golf tournaments. Again,
they got golf tournaments. Highlight you fellas at the golf outings, right?
Yeah, and again, part of growing your business is networking. And that's another thing. You have to get out and meet folks. And since we're in Texas, people do business with people they know and they trust. So you got to build a relationship. First thing you got to do in the business is build a relationships. And I give millennials that they do great. You go to Top Golf, you go to the Golden Alley, they do those things that we don't look at it, I guess, from our point of networking, but they're already networking.
Yeah, but they networking, they tweet. No, security got a little. We have a little cause and contract on the show, We keep it open. But go ahead, Kate.
Well, I can say, we got to get back to it's the perception, because all of it's not true. There's a negative perception on what millennial truly is, right?
Yep.
And there's this whole they're not serious about blah blah blah. They're tweeting, but there are some millennials who are serious about their business, and they want to connect with companies or create their own companies. With cause and effect.
Yeah.
So if there's no purpose behind a thing, they don't want to attach themselves. So there are some serious millennials out there who really do take things, seriously, and they want to get out there and do the best they can. Yeah. They're not all tweeting, nonsense.
Okay. Where?
No, seriously.
Right here. Right next to me.
So
I would tell Dave, we were driving. Dave would probably rather text me in the car than talk to me sometimes.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure that we're not putting out a negative, everybody's not the same. Again, what is a millennial? 1980s, they're born in 1980.
Okay, well, so
but there's really no date.
Let's give So what is the definition of millennial today?
I think what I found, I'm not sure, I think it's 93 and up. I think it's 93. If you're born in 93 and up, you're millennial. I think the 80s were more like Generation X type whatever, but I think it's 93 or early 90s, late 80s on up. So
they ain't make the cutoff? He's a millennial, right? Late 80s. Yeah. Late 80s.
Well, see, and some of the research I found said that it's really the 80s. They're following Generation X. So millennials are after that. So it could be in the 80s.
Right.
I think it's 83 and up.
So, but there's really no definite year given, for that. So, people just kind of throw them all together because I saw a couple of speakers talking about, I'm in business and I'm serious about my business. I'm 32 and I'm considered a millennial. Then you got somebody 22 who's like, hey, well, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. And yes, I am tweeting and I am, short-tempered on certain things in business. And I'm, 21, and I'm serious about doing X, Y, and Z. So it just depends.
Yeah, I think everybody. I think, as a whole, as an entrepreneur, period, millennial or X or whatever. I think you're serious about your business, sure, because you're trying to get in business. I think the most important step, though, once you get in business, there are certain things you need to do. If you're a minority business, is you should go get certified. Right. That's the first thing you really should do. Is go get your business certified so that you have an opportunity to get in that short list of other vendors that's trying to get to the major corporations too. I mean, you can expound on that. You told me how that works, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, why do I need to get certified? To tell a business I'm a minority owned business. Why do I need to do that?
Yeah, and again, the point of certification is that once you get certified, you can't take that paper and walk into a company and they're going to give you some business. They're still, you still have
Thank you so much. I'm going to say, hey, man, listen. Now, getting certified does not guarantee you business, right?
And again, I tell folks that. And again, once you're certified, we do orientation. But what that does is that gives you access to any of the Fortune 500 companies. They have supplier diversity professionals. So versus you going into the front door, you have an advocate already inside of the company. So you go and talk to the minority. You go ahead and talk to the supplier diversity professional. Let them know what you do. That way, they can help you navigate through an AT&T or through a Verizon. Instead of you trying to figure out who you need to talk to, they're going to look at what you do, look at your customers, how to fill you out. Then they're going to introduce you to that buyer that think you're ready. But again, a lot of the supplier diversity professionals come back to me and say, I don't need everything suppliers. You got to know what you do. And I tell folks, you got to have an answer to a problem that they don't even know they have. So again, certification has its opportunities. We do networkers to put you in front of those buyers. Again, you got to get to know them. As a buyer, their job is on the line as well as trying to bring you in, but they want to make sure you're ready. That's the main thing. You have to be ready. But the certification doesn't automatically get you in business.
And we expound on that all the time. I think a lot of our shows, we say, we want you to get certified, but it does not guarantee you a contract, with a Toyota or a Pepsi or a Walmart or whatever. But it still helps you to understand what game you're really in. Because there is a certain thing, and I'll let you kind of expound on that. These major corporations count their spend, whether you're millennial or not. But if you're a minority-owned business, they still count their spend with you. You want to go ahead and elaborate on how that works?
Right. So we have some companies, like Toyota and IBM, those folks that are in the billion-dollar roundtable. So they do count their spend. They don't get any breaks from the government or anything. It's the right thing to do. If you're consumer based, if you're a PepsiCo, your consumers are minority. So again, you want to go back. So again, it's a competitive edge because minority companies, they can turn on a dime. They don't have to go through all the process of going through and get disapproved and disapproved. If you want something, they work late hours and we
work late hours. Everybody around here knows we work late hours.
When a customer calls you, you turn on a dime. And not everybody can do that. So there's a competitive advantage to working with a minority business as well.
Yeah. And we've always tried to expound on that because, being certified as a minority business is one thing, but you got to have a good business too, and what we've tried to show the minority business community is that we have to strengthen certain things when we're trying to go over here and get access to capital. Because when we're trying to get access to capital, we got to strengthen that company up. And what you get capital for is two things. And we've talked about this a lot. You get that capital to buy human capital, more people. Either HR, your staffing, your marketing, your advertising, your PR, or you need a CFO, or you need sometimes you need a new CEO of a company. It happens. Or you're gonna buy equipment.
Right.
Those are two most important things you're gonna do with capital. But nobody really wants to give any business, certified or not certified, any money if you don't have your stuff right. And those are things that we've been talking about for the last 17, 18 weeks. It's kidding.
And what's important is to get that banking relationship early. Don't go when you need the money, then it's a different relationship. But again, I think I tell all our business owners, you need to make sure you have an accountant, a banker, and counsel. Because again, when you go to get a contract with a AT&T or someone, they're going to look at your financials. They want to know kind of how are you built. But at the same time, when you go and sign a contract, you want to make sure you can fulfill the contract. And trust me, their lawyers are looking at the contract before you look at it. So you want to make sure. But the banking relationship, I think you should start that early. You need to go and talk to them, get your lines of credit early. So once you get that contract, you're not out there scrambling, okay, now how am I going to fulfill it? So we all are guilty of doing it, going out and bidding on things, but do we have the capital to fund that?
Well, man, I'm going to bid on this opportunity right now, but man, if I get the contract, I'll make it work. What? We'll make it work, right?
It sounds good, right?
Hey, Andrew, if you just give me that contract, we'll make it work, man, right?
Right.
That's what you hear all the time.
That's what they hear. But then once you go to a corporation and they are net 30, net 90, or net whatever, it's different when you're trying to flex the payroll, keep people and buy material, because that first check may not come, right then.
60, 90 days.
And if you've been out here like us, it can
120
vary.
days. 120 days for you to pay sometimes. You're trying to float the staff and everything else.
So again, having the banking relationship or the funding ahead of time kind of helps with that. When you go back in and negotiate, what you can handle.
Right.
What's realistic.
Right. And that's the only thing that we've been trying to really just verbalize a lot that these are the things we got to do, and you just got to expound on it. You know, even having an accountant. How many of us as minority business really have an accountant? You know, that's few and far between, right? Or your CPA, and do we really have good banking relationships? Okay, Doc, we want you to walk into Bank of America today and we need $5 million line of credit. He's gonna try to walk in today, even though he's Doc Patton, he still hasn't established that major relationship, right? But that's okay. We ain't gonna send Doc in. We're gonna send Millennial in. We're gonna send Dame in. We're gonna send Dame in to Wells Fargo to get us a $5 million line of credit. But if you ain't established a relationship, what are we gonna do, Dame? Walk right back out.
and it goes. We just have to take care of our financials.
Yeah,
I think we put a stress on all the other places. We do a 8-day certification workshop where folks want to do business with the government. It's probably a 6-week process that we go. But when you're doing business with the government, they want to see certified financials. They don't want to see someone just fix your.
I think you might have reemphasized that again. I mean,
they want to see certified financials.
Right.
Yeah.
Andrew is a subject matter expert. He has been in this space for a long time. He taught me a lot of things. I first got certified, and Margo did too. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, we're trying to say the same things that he's echoing right now. They don't want to see certified financials, meaning you're going to get some audited financials. That's a lot of, and we see now that maybe.
So I just show you my tax return?
Oh yeah, come on.
Yeah. So you go 8-day certification. You can show them your tax return, but you're going to sign another sheet in there that says you give them permission to go to IRS and make sure what you're showing is what you file it. We just want to double check. It's just the government. You know, they always gonna double check and double check you. So
so like your boys say, discount double check.
But that's the main thing. But again, back to the millennial businesses. We have some folks at the council. We're starting a millennial industry group, and we.
Oh wow, okay.
And so AT&T was on our board. Keith Connolly, and he came in. He said, the millennials out there, we need some millennials on our board. And I want to say our president, Ms. Margo Posey, was real receptive to that. And so we had 2 millennials, one from Fujitsu, Andrea, and she's really good. So she's helping to lead the way on the millennial industry. At the council, we didn't see it. And a lot of folks at the millennials come to the council and say, this is a different look for us. We're not used to the way that you do business versus we do business. So we decided to launch a millennial industry group. We're still in the creation phases. We're going to have our kickoff meeting, and the millennials say, well, we don't want to do it at the council. We don't want to do it at the hotel because that's not where we meet. So, they said, so what would that look like to you? They was like top golf. They have a big open bay. They have this stuff and that's there. But again, as a council, as we move forward, we have to look at that because the buyers are changing. You go into Toyota, it's not the big office anymore. No. It's the cubicles and the collective space. But those buyers are starting to get younger. The millennials are moving into the workplace. But to me, it's important for us at the council to make sure the millennials know the other millennials. Because these are going to be the next head of procurement. These are going to be the next folks. And we just have to instill in them relationships are different, but they communicate a different way. They do a lot of social media. They do a lot of collective networking where everybody's together. But strangely, they know each other. Sometimes they don't even know they know each other. They're on the same Facebook page. They're on the same. They hang out at the same places, and they see each other, but they really don't know because millennials don't get in there and talk business. Yeah. They get in there and they have a good time, and you may work at Toyota, but they don't really get into it like we do. We want to know who you are, what you do, what's your position. How can you help me in the back of your mind? But the millennials are different. And I think we have some great success with millennials. One guy, he does real estate. He goes and looks at contracts for folks, and he's a hard hitter. I mean, he's moving and he's gone. But they work hard. I'm not gonna say all things are millennial. I think sometimes we use millennial as a bad word. But I think we just use it as to identify. I think the Gen Xers had that problem, especially the baby boomers. They just hated it, But it became the social icon at the time. And so I'm with you guys. We can't always say millennial and that because again, I raise a millennial. And he's the best thing. That's what I tell you. So I would be guilty of saying.
I raise them too, but I ain't gonna say mine the best. They can be the best if they just get it right.
We have to encourage them a little more, but I think in the business world, we just have to learn to embrace because technology is taking over. There's no way we're going to do it if you're not tweeting. Even with the council, we're on social media, we're tweeting, we're Facebooking, we're LinkedIn. We're doing it all because we have to do a broader reach, and people see it. I mean, we're on constant contact. We have to reach out to a different demographic, but it's changing. But if we don't change, we're going to be stagnant. We're going to sit back while the millennials go. We're going to be scratching our head trying to figure out, instead of, fearing them, we need to embrace them.
Right.
But again, I think I think there's a change of knowledge too.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't do that. They were, out, they had their own cars, growing up. So we have to bring them back into the networking. And I think that's what we as a business community have to bring them in and say, networking is important. We're not going to change what you do. We can go out to Top Golf. We can go out to Clyde Warren Park and hang out on grass, but networking is the thing. You're going to have to talk to each other. You're going to have to communicate, because this is how business is done.
I think that's part of the challenge is bringing them together and learning how to communicate. They don't mind coming together.
Right.
They're experts at coming together. But what's going to be exchanged once we get together? And I think the challenge is sitting down face to face and having that real true conversation about where I want to go next in business is truly important. But I was reading an article about millennials taking over cities, and how certain cities, if they're not connected with the millennials, they're going to be left behind. And Dallas is like on that top rank. They're creating a space so that millennials can come in, and they value family, they value community, they value, their jobs. And so it's like, if they don't have this in a particular space for them, then they're going to move on to the next city. You got to pay attention to really where their head is, where they want to go. They want to move fast. They don't want to sit back and wait around, for certain things. So millennials are pretty much good for business if we pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying?
We pay attention to it. And it goes back to what your first P, perception.
Yes.
We have to perceive what they're doing. They're not living in Cedar Hill. They don't see the house. They want to live downtown. They want to be close to the action. They want to be close to their friends. So you go downtown to the Mosaic or something, they're in there. So again, if it's me and I have a business, I'm trying to reach the millennials. So next thing I'm thinking, I need to have a cleaning business, because I know the millennials, are used to the parents cleaning up. So, if I had a little cleaning business down at the Mosaic and said, hey, let me come in, and they only have 1,200 square feet. How hard could that be clean?
Right.
So, but again, if I had that business, so I had to think like a millennial, let me go down there and find where they're at. Look at Uber Eats. You gonna deliver McDonald's to us? Was like, really? You can't drive down there and get you a Big Mac? But they go order it. Somebody ordering Uber McDonald's right now. But that's what the millennials think. But if we don't stay on that train, we're gonna miss out. Because we think everybody needs to go here.
Oh, it must be a nerve over here.
But again,
struck a nerve over here.
No. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
It's interesting to hear y'all's perspective.
Yeah.
Before I chime in and give mine.
Okay.
By all means. But from my generation, if we want to connect, we have to get through the perception, and then we have to look at the trends, and then we have to meet you at your space.
That's exactly what. My bad. And I was gonna say the same thing. I know you probably gonna segue into that, but it's a balance, right? It's a compromise, and I'll say on both ends, where corporations, business owners, leaders are meeting them in the middle, but at the same time, I think millennials should be willing to do a little more, and that we're meeting in the middle. We're not meeting you 80% and you only give me 20. Because we don't want to set the precedent of we're doing it for you. We're doing more for you because this is how you want it, because you're the next upcoming generation. This is the way we do things now. Y'all getting old. Y'all need to adjust. And I think you can actually learn a little more from the older crowd, Generation X. But I think it's a compromise between the two, finding that balance of, I want to walk. I may order Uber Eats, but have a conversation with them. You might want to walk today, man, just because so and be willing to learn and learn some of the old ways. They have the new ways. I saw someone put an article somewhere when they said a millennial said they laughed at their mom because they didn't know how to update their social network page or social media page or what have you. But the mom laughed because the millennial had to look up how long to hard-boil an egg.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a balance, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you can use technology to learn how to hard-boil an egg, but your mom can probably tell you this, that, and the other, and this long, and you can learn it that way. So it's an experience that you should want to be willing to learn. I said that completely wrong, but want to learn and be willing to learn how to adapt and be in the middle. Because at the end of the day, it's adapt or you die.
Yeah, that's it.
And either whether Generation X, Boomers, either adapt or you die.
Yeah, that's true. What's your
You got to
perspective?
say, Mr. D.
Come on, D. Will. Come on, D. Will. Damon Williams.
So I'll say this. I agree with everything all of y'all said. I agree with all of that. I think it is solely a difference in communication, right? But I'll say this. For y'all's generation, y'all learned through experience. In my generation, we've learned through exposure. And that's the difference. It's like we get so much thrown at us that we're constantly learning stuff at all times. And so our focus on having to be on this path and staying here and making sure we get this done doesn't necessarily have to happen in our generation, because we can learn so much and pull from so much at any point in time. And truth be told, like, I mean, when I was a kid, I had to go to the library and look stuff up and go through dictionaries, encyclopedias, all that stuff. I had to do that. We didn't have computers for real when I was a kid. But then as I got older now, I don't have to learn some stuff because I can just look it up. So now I can put my attention on something else because I can go back and look that up and figure it out instantly. You know what I mean? And so that right there, I think the way that we process stuff is just different for y'all. And that's the part that, you know, I understand because I grew up with my grandmother and you know what I mean? I was with my cousins all the time, and I had a big family that all lived down the street from each other and all that, you know what I mean? So I understand that. But for some of these kids, you grow up and it's like you're in your family in suburbia, and you went to high school with all your friends, and then you move, you go to college, and then for us, we like that independence. Yeah. And for y'all's generation, it was more of a collective family where y'all might have went to work with your dads all the time, or you might have went to the market with your mom all the time. I was trying to get the heck out of my house. Like, I was trying to go hang out with my friends, go do something else.
I wasn't even a millennial. I was trying to get out of the house. I was trying to get out of the house too, and I wasn't a millennial. But you know what I mean? I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, but for us, it's more of like our friends are our families now. You know what I mean? A lot of times, and not to say that we don't have emphasis on our family, because I love my family to death. That's number one for me. Yeah. But at the end of the day, our independence and us moving away from home and going to, like, you know, like a lot of people, when y'all were growing up, they didn't leave and go 3,000 miles across the country to go to school and whatnot. Like, people wasn't doing that. Like, nowadays, it's like, that's the thing to do. You go to high school and then you get as far away from your family as possible to learn who you are, and then come back and do what you want to do.
You know what I read something that was, and you're right to some point, but I read some things too where a lot of millennials don't want to leave home. They don't want to be away from home. I just read.
I wouldn't think that's true at all.
I just read that stuff I pulled out the other day. No, and I was bringing in, but I was reading that most millennials don't want to be far. They want to be away from home. They don't want to be far away from home. And I was like, that was just a study I just saw yesterday. Yeah.
Well, that's surprising to me, because I would think it's the other way around. A lot of millennials want to go away, figure out who they are, come back, and then do whatever they want to do. And I think that a lot of times,
and I wish that was true.
It's construed that we're not focused on what we're trying to get done.
Right.
Because it is true. Like, our attention span is not always right there. But at the end of the day, I think that it's just that we have access to way more. So it makes it easier for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the access points are really, that's really like the difference.
Yeah. I think there's two groups of millennials too. Because we still have some folks being around council, and they're like, I'm a millennial. I'm like, you're not a millennial. You're a millennial. I'm a millennial. I'm a baby millennial. You know. So then they have to
Andrew said, you're a millennial. I'm one too.
But there's two groups of millennials. I think you go back, and if we're saying, you're under 30, you're a millennial. But then you still have a 24-year-old that are coming into the workforce. You still have a 35-year-old. Up until you're 40, you could be a millennial. So I think there's two sets of millennials. Yeah. There's a real younger set that I think when people say millennial, I think they're really looking at the folks that are coming out of college, the real young ones that are saying, we don't want the white picket fence. Don't get me and five of my guys. We're going to live downtown in 1,200 square feet. We're going to party here. We're going to work at Toyota because we got flex hours. We don't have to wear no shoes. We come in at 4. We don't leave at 8. Yeah, they got a maka latte for me when I get there. So because.
Well, why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah, but in their mind, they think of that as long as I get the job done.
Right.
I don't have to be here 9 to 5. You guys have to do that because you guys didn't use technology. But me, if I need to know how to hardboil it, I'm gonna YouTube it. There's a video on YouTube to figure out how to hardboil an egg. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna put some stuff.
That leads to the next point.
No, process, but I went out to, and I got my own experience with this because I was trying to get my sons a job at Whoop. And I went out to meet Miss Kimberly, who works at Whoop, which is a part of Amazon. But I saw their work environment. I don't know if any of you guys have been out, or ladies been out to Whoop, but I saw their work environment. They can wear anything. They bring their dogs to work.
Yeah.
They sit at their station. The dogs sit at the station. They don't want to wear shoes. They don't have to wear shoes. I'm like, what is this,
But
right?
with that,
Right.
they've been actually proved. It's been proven that the work ethic is greater and better. With that.
But okay, and I'm going somewhere with this. I'm gonna go somewhere with this.
Okay.
So it's comfortable, right? So let's not wear no shoes. You know, you want to wear t-shirts and jeans, right? Whatever. Let's go to work that way. And I get it, as long as you're productive, right? Okay, but walk in the bank with no shoes on.
But
No.
it is the thing. See, what we're saying is that these millennials are not smart enough to. Some of them may not be smart enough.
But investor A comes in and look at.
Again, we're stereotyping millennials. They're okay at
What's
this.
the cause of contrast today? So we
Okay.
can stereotype all
I
that.
get it. I mean, there may be a millennial.
I'm Larry.
Yeah, there may be a millennial who doesn't care and put on the wrong outfit or not put on. I mean, that's common sense. You should be smarter than that. But I think most of them are smarter than that. They would know better.
I mean, productivity is definitely key. It was an experience for me to walk in and see it because I hadn't seen it, right?
Facebook.
All of them are saying, well, yeah, but they're all
Production is incredible.
Okay, Rodney, let me ask you.
social media.
You was coming up as a kid, right?
Yeah.
You went through school, whatnot, you came out to get a job, right?
Yeah.
If they had told you it's your job, you can wear whatever you want to work. Just get here and do it. Just get your work done. It don't matter what time you get here, what time you leave. Just come and get your work done. You would have took that deal?
Would I have taken that job?
You wouldn't take that deal?
I don't know what type of job it was.
I mean, whatever job you had.
No, I wouldn't, because I know it's a certain job I wanted. I wanted to be out of Nashville, first of all. So let's make sure we're clear on that.
Okay.
And depend on what type of job I was also.
So what kind of job did you want as a kid?
As a child?
Yeah.
Of course, I was just like you, playing sports.
Okay, so you wanted sports, right?
I wanted to play sports, which I did. I wanted to dress up in a suit and tie. That's what I wanted.
That's what you want.
That's what I want.
Okay.
That's what we saw growing up.
Okay, cool.
So we saw a different trend, right?
That's my point.
I got it. I said it.
You
We saw a
just
different
made it
trend.
for me.
But then,
That was what you had growing
but
up.
like
we
to
have
Andrew's-
to. We don't have to do that. There's so many businesses that we can go to. Like Facebook, Google. You ever go to there? Like
Yeah.
you don't have to wear a suit and tie. People go in there having a great time getting their work
I
done.
don't think it's
And
so much
that's
about.
what we've grown up to see. Like,
Right.
we've seen that
And
that's achievable.
I
and
get that.
why not? You can make a lot of money doing that too.
Okay, so let's just continue to move on with that, though. But even with the dress, and I get that. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But now we can't get certain jobs in millennials because we all tatted up now, right? To our neck. So there's only certain jobs you're gonna be able to get. What would you say about that?
I mean,
Andrew?
I think perception is everything.
Right, we're gonna go back up to perception.
We're
We're gonna back up there. I mean, that's
so
what I'm saying, right?
I'm gonna bag it up and bring it back.
Okay.
So now the advantage the millennials have over us is data. Everything is data driven. IoT, I think you talked about it.
Yeah, Internet of Things. Internet of Things. Yes.
Dallas is about to be wired. Again, you have your refrigerator that can send you an email to tell you that you need to pick up some milk because there's no milk in there.
Right.
And everything, the TV, the smart TV. So everything is about data.
Yeah.
And the millennials can do data because that's what they do. They play PlayStation all day. They can write code because they didn't like the way game, and they can do all that because it's all about data. So when you're forming data, nobody's really seeing you. You're working in the background.
Right.
You don't care how the refrigerator can tell you need milk. You're just glad you know you need milk.
Right.
But like you say, you go to Facebook, you go to Google, and all those folks. Because they're all data, they're not in front of. They don't have to sit in front of $1 million investors.
Right.
But I guarantee you, when Facebook founder go and he needs to meet with some foreign people, he's going to take his tennis shoes off and maybe put some slacks on and a shirt. He may not be suited and booted, but he knows when he goes into a different audience, he has to have a different perception, because in order for people to take you serious sometimes, you have to come in. Again, if all investors are in suit and tie and you show up in some flip-flops, who's really going to take you? And again, but we have to convey that to the millennials in a friendly way to say, it's okay to wear flip-flops, but if we have some investors come in, we have some important folks come in, we want you to be presentable. We want you, again, it could be a polo. I don't have a tie on or anything, but I put a jacket on, and I can have my jeans on with shorts on underneath. It doesn't matter, but it's all about the perception. And sometimes as minority, we don't get that first nod. So again, we have to, when we were growing up, if you didn't have a tie on and you came into the building, people knew you were important. If you were in the corner office, they knew you were important. Well, they don't say, give me a check, I'm important. If I get this project done, because again, it's all about data. If I can get this done, where you had to research, we got to go, we got to get the tech team, we got to call the IT folks. Millennials can just say, give me about 3 days, I can have this back to you, and let me come in my own schedule. We're all at, again, we're all looking at final output now, and then Facebook and Google. You don't need to be dressed up. You just need to make sure your code is right, that it's doing what it's doing, it's been tested, and we can, go out here and it's secure and we're okay. But again, that's the knowledge transfer. That goes back into the purpose. As the millennials come on, we just got to tell them what the purpose is. Because if you're an athlete, and you come out and you're tatted up to the neck and you want to go into a corporate, now you got to really think about that. There's nothing wrong with it, because if you have the background and you're making money, it's different when you're sitting on that other side of the table. I look at Mark Zuckerberg and Mark Hughes. Yeah.
They wear what they want to wear because they got a certain amount of money.
That's right.
So I've seen Mark walk in a meeting with tennis shoes on, he can do it.
Yeah. But look at Shark Tank. When you get on Shark Tank, at least he put a jacket on.
He changed his appearance up because of perception that he needs to have now.
It's for people to take you.
Right. Because there was a viewership. And they was trying to inspire so many people to become entrepreneurs.
Right.
And I don't like all that, because I'm like, there's a whole lot behind just becoming an entrepreneur. You got to understand the process, going back to the process of it, right? So but with money,
Zuckerberg, he'll put on a shirt and some slacks. He may not necessarily put on a jacket unless I think when you get married. I don't even know if he wore one in, but if you look, but look at his wife though. She's always on point. She's always business, because she looks at it differently than he does. But again, it's nothing wrong. And again, to the athletes, they have your style. You have your folks, that come in. But I think, in the social environment, you just really got to be aware of your surroundings. So it comes back to that purpose. You got to be aware of your surroundings.
So question, fellas, for Doc and Dane. So
which one's which?
No, that's Doc. I'm Larry right now.
All right, go ahead.
So, for Doc and Dane, so do you think now that some things are out of control from a dress standpoint in the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, Olympics, all that stuff? So do you think that the athletes should actually dress up now every game? Do you think that should happen? From a perception standpoint?
This is how I feel, honestly.
I got you.
Honestly, how I feel. Okay. And when I was in, both times I played for Coach Fisher in Tennessee and in St. Louis.
Right.
He had a rule. At home, we're at home. Where would you want? On the road, suit and tie, it's a business trip. I agree with that.
So at home you can wear whatever, and then on a business trip you.
So when we're going on the road, you're suit and tie because you're representing our city elsewhere.
Okay. So, but I'm talking about now from a standpoint of being an athlete.
Let's just put it this way:
who has a lot of people viewing you, looking at you.
Okay.
Right. Idolizing you. So what do you think?
So I think about it this way. I played football since I was 6 years old.
Right.
Man, a hoodie and some sweatpants was my daily. That's how I live, man. Like, it's just comfortable. I'm going to work out. I'm going to put on a hoodie. I'm going to watch film. I'm going to put on a hoodie. I'm going to this football field. I'm going to take off my hoodie and put on a helmet. And then afterwards, I'm going to put on my hoodie. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That I play. So when I'm leaving the facility, I'm gonna have to stop at Kroger or Publix or Walmart, wherever.
I knew you were gonna say Publix. That's it.
But yeah, so
all right, now you hear that? Publix
I
is
have to
coming.
go to Publix, right? Well, I've been worked out all day. I've been up since 5:30. It's 5:50 in the afternoon. I'm tired. I got my comfortable sweats on. I'm going to the Publix. I know what perception is.
Right.
So
okay.
guess what? Hoodie on.
Right.
Straighten up. Walk in there and act like you have, like you're not just like this guy in the hoodie in here worn out,
Right.
Because I know what perception looks like. I can't be walking into the grocery store with a hood on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's different for everybody, and that's just about, a lot of it comes from how you were raised. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand what people look at you in certain situations. And I don't mind how guys dress. Some of these guys are dressing outrageously, but that's your style. And you're okay with that, then cool. That's fine. Do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to understand your platform and where you are. If you're going to a basketball game, you know what? Wear whatever you want to wear. You're going to a basketball game at home, like, go do your thing. If you're on the road, put on a suit and tie. I feel like that's a business trip. You're going to handle business out there. Cool, go do that. But at the end of the day, that's that. But now we're going to talk to some investors about going to get some money to go build a plant somewhere or whatnot. Man, put on a suit and go do your thing. And that's just common sense. That has nothing
That's
to
your
do with
uniform.
Yeah, that's your uniform. That has nothing
Okay.
to do at all with being a millennial, being a baby boomer or Generation X or whatever. That has to do with common sense and doing the right thing and knowing your surroundings.
Yeah. And I'm glad David said that because I wanted it to come from him. I wanted that to come from Dan because he's telling all you millennials, just put the suits on.
I think what he was saying, I'll piggyback. Sometimes is understanding the perception that exists, right?
Yeah.
And I think you have it ain't just millennials, but since that's kind of what we're talking about, is be willing to understand the perception and be willing to change and get dressed up. I know that, but sometimes, like I said, on the other end, explain to them why it's a business trip. Sometimes you may not want to because. If I say do it, some people come from generations. If I say do it, you just do it with no pushback, with no question. But sometimes it can require explanation, and it may help resolve some friction between why you told me and why I don't want to do it. Now, I understood from
come on,
okay, kick knowledge, Doc.
Come on in,
kick knowledge, Doc.
What I've learned is that for NFL, NBA, what have you. So say if when the NBA say, hey, we need y'all to get dressed up right. And some of the athletes may be like, nah, man, that ain't my style. That ain't what I want to be. But say if, and I don't know if it happened, say if one of the owners or the NBA, what have you, or NFLPA, what have you, came and sat down and said, listen, you guys, in order to keep this well-oiled machine going, we have corporate dollars. We have TV sponsors.
Exactly.
They don't want to see y'all dressed like this. So in order to keep this well-oiled machine going, these corporate dollars is what's paying your salary. They want to see you look a certain way. So just on game, just wear the suit. That's all we're asking because that's what the people paying us to pay y'all want to see.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Right.
Unfortunately, you don't have to like it. That's just what it is. And I think if you just do a better job of trying to explain it to get them to understand it, it's a lot less friction as opposed to
Communication is key.
Communication is key. Instead of
We talk about
do it
that all the
because
time.
I said so. Well, I don't want to because you ain't giving me a reason why. Like again, find that balance, compromise. Sometimes you may have to explain it. It may stop the friction.
And it makes a difference, when you attach the dollar sign to that thing, it will change. And that's in marketing, period. I deal with clients who they just, they don't get it. And I'm like, people are looking at you, they judge you. I know it's not right, but it happens every day. And you gotta be educated on why I should change or compromise for X, Y, and Z. So I think, we're helping them understand the importance of why it should or should not be done.
And when Shakira, when you actually expound on the dollar, attaching the dollar to that, it does make sense.
Oh, yeah.
But that leads me into a process of what, like Miss Pickens, Tony Pickens, we've all talked about Miss Pickens, what she's doing with Operation Blue Shield, I believe, that she's trying to, merge the first responders, police, fire, all that to the community. Right, and with millennials across the globe. And we're saying, okay, we want to help with that program. But I think attaching that dollar to that program with a job creation and we're putting in, plants in Chicago with D Rose or Dwayne Wade or plant in Florida with Tracy, in Arbordale, or Antonio Davis and and Dane in Arkansas and Doc, just putting that stuff around it where we create jobs. We're telling you we want you to do certain things, act a certain way, or not walk into Publix with the hoodie on, but now you got something to go to, as opposed to just talking at you saying, hey, we want y'all to stop all this gangbang, we want you to stop all this killing, right? We want you to stop all this stuff, but we don't have a solution around it, we don't have a job to either put them into that they can work, or train them in something they can go work for some of these mom and pop shops that we've been talking about, all these weeks. So I think that's like you said, it's a little disconnect.
Yeah.
But that's also an opportunity to bring all this to fruition. From yes, we need to get these first responders and the millennials together. True, absolutely, right. 2, we need to create more jobs in these environments, right? And we need to train more. Athlete entertainers, we need to do more too. They're looking at you. They're looking at you. Everybody looking at you because you're the millennial, right? So, but I mean, these are things we got to change. Andrew could go to Chicago, D.C., New York, and talk to everybody, but if we don't have a solution, what are we going to do? Right? We just talking. They can look at this show all day long and say, oh, okay, well, man, I like that show, but we still not going to be able to give a solution. If we can't put something on the ground that's going to effectively give them at least the opportunity to either A, learn and try to get in that, we're at a mute point right now.
And that goes back to what I said earlier. Millennials want to connect with something immediate. They don't want to just, be out here working for someone or even, starting something that they don't really believe in. They want to attach to a cause. So what is the cause? What are we doing? Like you said, there has to be a resolution, a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
So, Ken, we got purpose. Connect with us. We'll help you.
Yeah. That's from the business perspective, absolutely. At Playbook Investors with an S Network. Antonio Davis, Tracy McGrady, Doc Patton, Damon Williams. It's always Playbook Investors Network with an S, right? .com. But I mean, we're really, really extremely passionate about what we're trying to do too, because we know it's tough. It is tough for millennials because they want to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, where they want to do it, and however they want to do it. That's true. I got millennial kids, and I tease them, and I talk a little noise about them on the set and stuff, but they gotta want it. You really gotta want some of this stuff. I mean, you can, like you said, we can give it to you all day, but you gotta want it. And the job creation piece is really huge now because, like you said, they outsourcing all the work now. Millennials, they can do this stuff just like this. You done showed me stuff that I ain't know how to do just in the car driving back and forth to Houston. That I just picked up because Dame and Doc know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. And they showed me how to do it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, right? So, I mean, and technology is everything, true. Technology is everything. Yeah, it's on your refrigerator now. It's in your home. It's in your light fixtures. It's everything. Everybody can do anything they want to do. And anything you want to learn how to build, just go to your phone and look up Google.
YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
YouTube, right?
It will walk you
No, go to YouTube and watch PN Global News.
Right.
Yeah. All you millennial kids and other business owners and leaders, go to PN Global News. YouTube, PN Global News. Watch the show. Right? But no, I mean, perception, purpose, and the process. Now you got to get down to the process.
Yeah.
How do you pull all this together, and get them engaged?
Network like
right.
I mean, honestly, and that's something that I loved about Penn when we first came on the Penn, and I think I told you this. It's no different than you want to get these kids off the streets, right? So what you got to do is, you can't just say, hey, kids, get off the street.
Right.
You got to build a youth center. You got to build a library. You got to build a museum. You got to build somewhere for these kids to go to get them off the street.
Yeah.
It's no different like how you get a millennial off the couch. You got to give them jobs. You got to create
jobs.
jobs.
Right there. You need to keep that tagline. Give them a job, get them off the couch. Give them a job, keep them from carjacking.
That's it.
Give them a job, we can keep them out of jail too. Unless they just want to do some crazy stuff. You can't stop that.
You can't stop that.
Yeah.
But what you can do is give them an alternative.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And that's what I love about PIN is the job creation, is that we're definitely pulling people from every aspect, all the subject matter experts that you say, that know about any field. We're giving you opportunity to get access to any field, any industry that you want. But you just gotta, at the end of the day, like we said, you gotta want to. You gotta get up and want to do it. But at least if there's something there for us to do, a process in play, makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. You wanted to say something?
No, I was just thinking, was at an event and met these young guys, and said, what you do? And they're like, well, we deliver gas. Like, you deliver gas? He said, and so, we were sitting there talking, and we were talking about the IoT. You had a big thing with Mayor Daley and from Chicago and Mayor Rollins, and we were at the club at the where we were at. So the guy, I said there, and the young guys too. They're like, we deliver gas. And I guess my expression was like, he said, so what we do is, we're from California, and so we're in Silicon Valley area. So what we do is we have a contract with a corporation or a company, and so we have an app that all you got to do is push on the app and say, fill up my car, and they'll have a little truck, and they'll come down, they'll fill up your car, your credit card's on file just like Uber. They'll charge you, get something that says, completed, this is what we did, we do this. And this is why you're in here working.
Yeah.
That's how millennials think.
Yeah.
Now, that was pretty good right
Yeah. And I think it's someone around Dallas that's doing the kind of same thing. But
I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, but those guys were saying, we didn't look for just the individual people call. So I'm just going to have a guy have to get some gas. I want to go to the corporations, make this part of where I can come on your premises and fill up your folks' car. Because again, if you have, the Toyota, take Toyota. Just imagine if you had someone get deliver gas while you're there at, 4 in the evening when you just got there, or something. That's one less thing you have to do. Mm-hmm. But again, I think we have to make sure millennial is not a bad word.
Right. Yeah.
We need to, with starting a process for anything, we have to understand the situation and players, and before we can start figuring out how to fix it. But first, we have to understand the millennials.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad word. They're going to help us get the refrigerator that can call me and say, hey, you need to get some milk before you get home, because when I get ready to cook breakfast, I'm going to get upset because I don't have no milk. So again, but there's a purpose. And once we get that, I think we understand. Like you say with the youth, we can have job creation, but what do they want to do? Unfortunately, we have, it's a lot of things out there where it's the fast money. I don't want to work hard. I just want a lot of money, a lot of women, a lot of cars, a lot of house. Again, we got to tell you, but in order to get there, there's a process. You got to start somewhere, because again, you got to start here. If you can't make $10 an hour, how are you gonna make $50 an hour?
I think the word millennial could be like synonymous with convenience, and I mean that on both aspects. It's that we want everything at our fingertips, at the convenience of everything, right? Mm-hmm. But also that we've made everything way more convenient for everybody else. Right? I know what I mean, because our generation has literally, like you said, we created like the software that tells you that your refrigerator needs whatever is low on whatever. Like a millennial did that, and that's something you're like, wow, that's pretty impressive, like or like the Facebooks and how we communicate with everybody right now, how we're doing this show right now. Right. A millennial did this. Right. You know what I mean? So we've made things so much more convenient, but at the same time, because we've done that, it's kind of like a spiraling process, because we want everything.
But it's a good problem to have, because I remember growing up, and my mom said, "You're not gonna have all these people in your house. We got this game. Everybody can't come over to our house and play." So when I told my son, "You can't keep having people come over here." So you know what they did? Now you got the Madden, and you can get on there. Everybody at home, and y'all communicate like y'all in the same room playing the same game. Because a minute ago, all y'all was in my house.
Isn't that crazy? Now they can play.
Yeah.
The whole neighborhood.
The whole neighborhood play. And
Don't have to be at each other's house.
That's
and
right.
they play the game.
So instead of everybody arguing in your house, you only one person.
You got one person talking to the TV.
They're crazy in front of you. They ain't have
So when we embrace that and we take that technology, that's the same thing we're doing right now.
Yeah.
That's the same thing we're doing with a conference call.
Yeah.
Everybody can be across the country, but we can get together. You know, we got the WebEx. You
Yeah.
can pull up. You have
Yeah.
screens. You can see what's going on in
Right.
the other room. So I think their technology, once we understand it and put it side by side with the Madden, connecting with the headphones that I hate, but you said they have the same thing you do when you do a conference call or a video bridge.
Yeah.
You guys are going over a problem. You guys are getting a problem solution. That's what we do on the football game. We try to figure out how we gonna beat the Raiders. You know. So,
But it
that's
is true.
my feeling.
It's so true.
Yeah. So when we look at it like that, they have something to bring to the table. Because again, we have to look at the millennials. Their solutions are really on a global scale.
Yeah.
They're just doing it on PlayStation. But we're taking that PlayStation experience and say, oh, we can create training here. You know, we can do. But we have to, like you say, now we have to go back into the community and say, if you're great at PlayStation and this, you need to learn how to write code. Because
Right.
if you want your man to run touchdowns without being stopped, if you just write this code.
What's funny is my daughter's in 5th grade and they are learning code already.
Yeah.
Like it's like code. I didn't know anything about code
Right.
at all, even in college.
Right.
But they're teaching the kids code now.
Yeah.
And it's second nature.
That's the way of the
Yeah.
world. I mean, like we talk about this though. I mean, just give you a prime example. Everybody has to have a website, right?
Yeah.
But somebody's got to run the back end of that
Right.
website. Somebody's got to put that website together, and kids are building from scratch and learning different.
Yeah.
fifth
They
grade
put
now.
them up like this.
But you say that. But remember when we were in high school, you know, back in the day, we had computer class, and we put in these numbers, and they make these letters. Remember they used to do that? You put in these numbers, and do this, and you get this, and it makes these letters on your sign. We were coding.
It was coding.
But Apple and Microsoft said, oh, y'all don't need to get in those business. Y'all just want the end result.
Yeah.
This is what you're trying to do. So they took us out of the coding business, and they made their fortune out of that.
That's true.
I get that.
Yeah.
Type.
Okay, yeah.
I was type.
Yeah.
I was in type class.
But now, but the good thing with the millennials,
Yeah. No, we had electric. We were typing. You know, we had to get your hands.
your homework keys.
Yeah.
Your own key. That's why I can type today. So we're typing.
slide it back.
Hey, Rodney. Whatever.
But they took us, but Microsoft and Apple took us out of the coding business and gave us the end result.
Right.
We just want a processor. We just want to play games.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
time when we were in school, for a little short minute when I started, we were writing those programs. We were writing those things to put the letters, to do your math. We wrote all that.
Wow.
And they came up and said, well, we're just going to introduce you and give you these computers, put them in there. And they took us out. Now we're going back and saying, if you want to make money, you write the program. And let somebody give you $1 billion for that app because I don't want to create it, but you got this gas app. Let me just buy your company.
Yeah.
You know what? And on the flip side of that, I'll say, you know, the technology has helped and made it faster. But I think, you know, another angle we can take in teaching and educating is somebody probably can't code or know how to do this, but we can say, well, what they're coding on, somebody had to build it.
There we go.
Somebody
There we go.
had to.
That's our thing, right?
Yeah. Somebody had to build it, right? So you may not know how to code, but you can tell somebody, well, that computer, that Xbox, that PlayStation, somebody built this whole thing in order for it to work. So in order for you to learn how to code, somebody built that computer for you to code on. So teaching them how to do that part, like you don't necessarily know how to code. Get to the bit. They might need the mother, whatever the motherboard, right?
Which right down the street.
Learn how to just do the motherboard part.
In
Guess what?
Richardson,
You feel
Texas.
effective.
Yeah.
And you're making money, but you can say you contribute to the person who coded on something. So it's just trying to help them understand that it's different avenues how they can be
Or help
effective
them
and contribute
find the
in the
niche.
process.
Right.
You know, I think you put so much out in the market or in the communities that they never experienced or never seen before.
Right.
You know, that they were like, I had no clue, and I know how you were when we started going different places. You know, or even when you ride down the street, you look at these plants, or even go into the plant, you be like, I had no idea that this company makes these blinds, or this company makes this glass behind us, or this company's making the LED lights. You didn't know this stuff, and they don't know this stuff neither. So our thing, it goes back to, I think, what you had said, exposure. You know, we also still got to expose them to all this, just like we had to expose all the African entertainers who have liquidity. You know, T-Mac, Doc, Dame, AD, all the other fellas, they got liquidity, but you didn't see all the stuff that was made that we could own, right? That we said, hey, in Arkansas, we could own 10 plants in Arkansas right now. We might not be saying a thing. We'll get a couple million. You know, Doc, I mean, we could have owned the company that make just in your cleats, just the spikes, not the shoe, just the spikes in the shoe. Right. So it's things that we didn't really think about, or we wasn't even exposed to.
Right.
I wasn't exposed to it until I met you guys at the council. And when I got to the council, they said, well, you need to be a certified minority business. I was like, for what? I'm shit black. What are you talking about? I mean, why do I need all that? I mean, I got my NAACP card, right? So you know who I am. But no. You have to be a minority-owned business. You got to know that you own and operate your business and all the things that you guys share with me. And then it just went farther when I started working with Toyota, and they kind of exposed me to the manufacturing world. And I saw how the car was really made. Because, you know, when we get a car, we didn't really think about how it's made. And you know, every athlete in the team got at least 4, 5, 6 cars. I never thought about how that car was really made. And I hated to work on a car when I was growing up. Because, you know, in our time, you know, Dad brought you outside. Hey, man, go get me that 1.5 wrench. You like, what is that? Right? Go in the box and look for that 1/4, and I need that screwdriver that's got a Phillips head. You know, that was the stuff we had back then, right? And you had home economics, and you had shop, where you try to learn how to make stuff, right? But now it's like, all the stuff that's out there now that we never knew that we could actually own, that's the craziest thing in the world. Right. That we have all this liquidity and we really didn't know that we could own a plant that making that cup right there. Or this paper or these pens right here. Because as a matter of fact, we went to a company up in, I think it was Richardson, and we went to meet with them. They make the springs that comes in these pens. The little bit springs. That's that one little spring. They make the spring to come in the pen. It was a huge factory. But they make it for this pen, but then they make it for bigger things like springs like for the doors. And then they made springs for like the beds, the bed springs, of course. They made those springs.
Springs galore.
It's all springs. They're out of Switzerland. The company uprooted Kings to the United States, put it in here in the States. The people from Switzerland, you know, I think they tried to turn it into a minority business. You know, they got wind of, minority business, I think we could do that. So, but they made springs. And take the fellows to see the company make springs, they was like, what is this? You know, we talked about the motherboards, right? So there's a big company up in Richardson, Texas that make motherboards for computers. And they actually make for Dell and a few other computers. But we didn't know we could own that, right? We had no clue. So our thing was the education side of it for the African entertainers. NPN was we were going to expose them to all these different opportunities, manufacturing plants that they could actually have a piece of, get certified as a minority business, be a joint venture partner, be an owner, investor, whatever. It's just exposure. Yeah. So exposure goes back to a whole lot of verticals. Exposing the community, these millennial kids, to the opportunities that they don't know anything that exists. Right. Don't get me wrong, I had to go off to Tony Pickens for what she's doing with Operation Blue Shield and trying to merge the first responders and the community together because it's got to happen. You know, we got a lot of challenges. But with some jobs, we might be able to alleviate some of these problems, right? That kind of stuff. So
and they're out there, you know. And, Arlington ISD is getting ready to open up their career tech center, you know, and they have, you know, I think the motor company, they put in $1 million worth of equipment. Not GM, the Sewell, or one of the. They put in a piece of equipment in the school that's $1 million. Not even car repair shops have this equipment, but they're training. They get their nursing degree. If you go through their EMT program, when you graduate, you're gonna be ready to be hired by the fire department at 18.
Wow.
And then, so, you know, 20 years still service, and you know, 38 or something, you done, So again, the emphasis on back to what you were saying, creating jobs. We have to embrace those kind of things, nursing and things, because again, healthcare is huge. We're talking about IT, but nobody's saying healthcare. Nobody's even looking at healthcare. We haven't even.
Oh no, we are.
Yeah. I know you guys are. I know you guys are.
Yes, we are.
I'm talking to those that may not know.
We got the sticker right. Hey, we got the sticker right now.
Yeah, the IT part of healthcare hasn't even got there.
Right.
There's still a lot of things that you can do, and but now they got an app that they can look at you over there and diagnose you on a When does that come?
Well, they have an app that can diagnose.
They have an app that's connected to a doctor that they can just look at you and they can diagnose you right over there. Just take you right there.
Based on what you put in, the ailments that you put in.
Like you're communicating with me. Hey doc, my head hurt. I'm doing all this. You can look at you there. Oh, you don't look well. Let me prescribe this. That's your visit.
And that's interesting because there was one program that we were talking about.
You see me at first.
Hey, I want you to touch me. Let me know.
My glands are swollen.
Right.
But some people don't have time. Right. Some people have to be at work.
Or they busy mothers. Parents who they know my child. She has this. I don't want to take off work and that's a whole afternoon and loss of wages for a lot of people. So the teledocs of the world actually worked with them in the past. That's what they do. You call in. You have that visit over the phone sometimes, and
we know that's true. What are the symptoms? What is she doing? You basically diagnosing everything for your daughter and telling them so they can give you something to remedy a problem. Right?
We better be careful because it's gonna be Uber doctor. You just not gonna show up.
Hey man, I even hate to bring this up because I'm talking my age again. But you remember when the Jetsons was out? You remember? Y'all remember too. And you could really call the doctor on the phone at the Jetsons. And then if you didn't want to eat like different foods and stuff, Elroy would be like, I want a pizza. And he gonna get a pill. There's a pizza. Right? But look at
you looking like.
It's real, right? The Jetsons, hey, look at
it had something.
It had something.
Well, and I use that analogy all the time with Jetsons, but I'll tell you the biggest piece on there was the phone.
Yeah.
If you don't remember nothing about the Jetsons, you remember the phone.
Right.
Because she was looking at that person. I think she had one thing where she had a little mask she put in front of her when she wasn't ready. But we look at today.
Yes.
It was, and the Jetsons was just far-fetched. Oh, we'll never do that,
I mean, you never thought, even to flying cars, right? Because Justice get out there and they fly around. They ain't drive, they fly. Right. They're like, what is this? And now look where we are today.
And I'm telling you, the other thing, think about it is called spacely sprockets.
Yes.
It goes back to what you were saying with the wrench. No matter what you can do, you're going to need that spring for that pin.
Yeah.
Right.
Spacely sprockets. With everything flying around, you're like, what you need a sprocket for with this flying? Something still got a gear, leg, and that was one thing he had.
Yeah.
He still had employees, even though he had to go in there and push that button. He still had to have somebody come in there.
That's what we're talking about. That human capital side. You will staff. You get capital to staff up your business, right? But nobody, if you buy the operating equipment, somebody got to operate that equipment. Even if it's pushing the button, like you were talking about your father. Yeah. Your father go in, and your dad had to run a machine. But somebody got to still physically be there to push that button, right? We go into other plants sometimes, and we have what they call our fail-safe systems in place. So when the carpet was being cut with the water or the steel being cut with the water with all this robotic stuff, my thing that I ask a lot of manufacturers the most is like, when that machine breaks, because it looks like a spaceship anyway, but when it breaks, who really fixed that machine? Right? Who really fixed it? I mean, what type of brain can sit there and just fix that machine? But there's plenty of people that do it.
The type of brain that made it.
It's the operator. Because again,
the
operator, because again, when you buy that $1 million per, you're gonna send the person over there to sit there and go from nuts to bolts to know how to do it. Now, if something happened, they're gonna fly somebody out to do it because they probably. But the operator is a tip. But it goes back to your human capital.
Right.
That guy can operate this $1 million machine. He's a valuable guy.
Yeah.
He's a key man insurance person. Key man insurance on that person right there. Because we gotta have him.
Yeah.
But it's and I think when one of LaRonda Heights' friends had came to us and we were talking about, other opportunities. And we were looking at the pole climbing. So all your poles in the United States on the side of buildings and everywhere, all your cell phone towers and stuff, they're going to use pole climbers. And we were talking about this before because I think that you're going to have a lot of young millennials who are not afraid of heights, right? They can climb up them poles and do all that stuff, rewire stuff and bring it down the box and turn it on, right? You're not going to get an old person to climb up them poles. It's just not going to happen.
You're not going to get me to climb.
I was thinking the same thing.
No, but you. I mean, we were talking about this, and we were talking about going to different places to recruit pole climbers because every pole you don't have enough equipment to go all the way up the poles, right? I mean, it's just up, and you really don't need some putting these big cell phone tower and poles up anyway. But all the fiber optics are down at the bottom. But somebody got to close the pole. They harness themselves in, and they got to climb the poles to connect everything. That's amazing. This $65,000, $75,000 job for 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. That's amazing.
Exposure, man. Again, that's the thing that you don't know about. Job creation.
Right.
We got to expose them to.
We're gonna expose them. You know that, right?
I'm looking forward to it. I can't
We're
wait.
gonna
I
expose.
said that, just like you said, the exposure piece, but and I talk about this all the time, but Rodney, before I met you, I don't know what I used to think about when I was driving. I have no idea. I used to drive home and I have no clue what I used to think about because now when I drive home, I'm literally thinking about crazy stuff. Who painted CBS on CBS? Who did that?
Right.
Who painted actually this guy out there just painted it?
Right.
Like I said, I look out the window, who cleans the windows outside?
Right.
I drive by all the time, who made the wheels on that dumpster?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's because of all the things I've been exposed to. Now that I've been to factories, now that I've been to some of these plants, and now I've sat in these meetings and heard what people are talking about and been exposed to it, then I know about it. But you gotta understand, a lot of these people just don't know. Like we say, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
And they just don't know that stuff's out there.
I would say to that, just open your mind to why. And what I mean, if you're driving down the street and because you just assume things are because it had to be. You see stripes on the line, you're like, well, the freeway has to have stripes.
Yeah.
So think about it. Somebody painted that.
Yeah.
You just think that's just how it is. There's a window. Yes, it's a building. It's supposed to have a window. Somebody had to do it. That's what it's like, and that's what I think Damien's saying. Since we hooked up with you, it's just opened our mind to see things a little different.
Yeah.
Don't think just it is what it is. No, think past how does that light get to the top of that cell tower that's blinking at night that you see? Somebody has to climb up there and change that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the fact that you've been exposed to it and that we've been exposed to it, we can't assume that others have been exposed to it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of times I think when your generation looks at millennials, you're looking at well, how could you not understand that? And a lot of millennials are looking at y'all what is you talking about?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Better way.
You know what I mean? And that's and again, back to the communication. But I think that's part of it as well. It's just that exposure that part we just don't know.
Yeah, the
I had
knowledge
no
exchange.
idea about that stuff until But if you ask me about technical stuff, I could tell you a lot.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's just that knowledge exchange.
Right.
Again, if you look at, you tell a kid, you want to go into construction? They were like, no, I can be out there all day hammering, putting that thing on.
Yeah, we talk about that quite a bit.
Yeah, but again, do you know there's a professional services side? Do you know there's an engineer that put all that together? They have CAD. Right. They have to put these designs together, 3D designs that they can turn over. They have to make sure the measurements are there. There's certain programming and they do all of this is even before the building go up. You have to have soil samples. You know what you're building on top of. If it's water up underneath, you don't know when you put the piers in.
Somebody does the numbers for
somebody does the numbers for it. But the average kid thinks construction is just hammer and nail. And I'm not gonna be out there in Texas 115 on the side of the building trying to put a roof on. That's not gonna be me. But there's a professional service side. But again, I think even with the millennials say, I can put that on a program and build that up on the little freeway. You know, they got the little apps that build the airports and cities, and but that's what they're doing. They don't even know what they're doing.
Right.
They're creating an ecosystem. Sims, yeah. But again, we have to let them know that there's a knowledge chain. You can take that knowledge, and that's the same thing as engineering. Design it for the 3D replica, put that in front of a person, because that's what you're going to see before you build it.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure. What are you going to say, Keith?
Oh, I was just going to say, we say millennials don't know, but you have to think minorities, especially, it's difficult, more difficult for us, because at least coming from, I'm black. My parents, I'm black.
Okay. You might stop doing that.
My parents had no clue about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But my parents did say, hey, go out there and learn. You got to get out of the country, go expose yourself. And I learned as much as I could, but even as an adult now, I'm still like overwhelmed with the knowledge and the possibility. Like Rhonda and I were talking about, there are so many different ways to make money. There's so many opportunities. I didn't know anything about the manufacturing side, but manufacturing plants are all around in the little country town that I'm from,
Absolutely.
But I had no clue. I'm like, I got friends and cousins, they've all worked at plant. I don't want to work at plant. I got to get out of here. But if I had really thought about it, oh shoot, I now want to go back and put some plants back in my community and help, create more jobs.
You could have done.
I could have done a whole lot, but I didn't know.
You would all the marketing from the B2B perspective, because those plants have to deliver that product to the end user.
Yeah.
That's selling to us.
Yeah.
That we also consumers are going in buying products and services and everything else. So we always say that if I'm coming in to buy your product, we want to make sure that we got some value in the community, that we got a piece of this.
I know.
We drive your cars, right? We drive your cars. We're wearing your clothes. We're putting your shoes on. We're putting your underwear and your Hanes t-shirt on, whatever, right? Fruit of the Loom underwear. Let me have a piece of it.
Yeah.
Let me at least manufacture part of this, and we get what a manufacturer does X. Or these 4 tires on your car and that's spare tires, tire wheel assembly. Let us put that on your vehicle, that kind of stuff. Like Andrew's credit, guys or guys or girls are delivering gas. You don't want to be inconvenienced. You didn't make it to Valerio or whatever. Okay, cool. We got somebody to come give you some gas. Uber Eats. All these verticals and more verticals that are coming day by day. Because all you got to do is pick up your phone and order this. Why is all the retail going away today? Convenience.
Yeah, I can order from online.
Right.
I don't have to get in line. Like Friday comes to me.
But somebody got to put that package together in a box and send it out. Or a carrier service. It's
somebody
endless.
driving that Uber too.
Right.
And come back.
Now you can follow that drive on your phone. You just turn. He went the wrong way.
Yeah.
He went the wrong way. Oh man, I'm right here. Why are you going around? So it's. I mean, almost it's like it's no excuses now.
Yeah.
It's really no excuses. It's either A, you want it, or you don't. If you just want to be locked up for the rest of your life, that's on you. But our thing is like, there are jobs, and we just gotta expose. Like you said, I feel like we have a responsibility.
Yes.
From us to the athlete entertainers. And I put pressure on the fellas. I do, right? I'm always putting pressure. And they cool with it, so we don't fight each other. Mm-hmm. But the ones who want to go out there and be something that can educate, the community on how they can do some of this stuff. Because I know that they can go walk in the NBA, the NFL, the Major League Baseball, the hockey, and they can tell all the fellas, half of them ain't going to believe them until they go ahead and see it. Then they're going to ride home like Doc and Dame every night and look at everything like, oh my God, we really could have owned all these businesses in our community because we had liquidity. Or not even use our own money. The investors who have money, that investor dollar is to deploy it out into businesses. They would align themselves with you because now y'all will be partners. Now we just got to do another effective thing. Got to get on the ground. We got to educate millennials that, okay, here's some opportunities that you didn't never know about because we didn't know about it. But we'll bring them to you. some training for all these major corporations who want to train. Okay, like you said, there's a lot of things going to happen in the corporate side. They're going to go out and train. They're going to put the money up for the infrastructure to train these kids if they want them to come work in their plants or factories or what have you. It's like really a common sense type of thing. I think people think we're crazy or it's complicated, but it's really not that complicated, right?
No, I mean, you look at it when folks create companies, you know, it's for wealth. But when someone knocks on your door, say, you know what, I give you $30 million, let me just buy your company, your whole life changed.
Whole life, right. Whole life changed.
And you
right?
sell the company.
Yeah.
But now you got $30 million in the bank to bankroll your next idea.
That's
huge.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we got
whole
Andrew Nash at King Global News today. And he's telling you what
you
got
the whole
house's money.
That's it. But it's different. As an entrepreneur, you got to go out and get banking and financing. You grew this business. You attached to it. You don't. You know, somebody come give you $30 million. Let it go. Because now you got $30 million in the bank to finance your next idea, and it's different when you call in the shots now. You know, now
I do think that's why, you know, there's so many successful millennial entrepreneurs, because they don't mind taking a risk. They're not afraid. They're like, whatever, I'm trying it.
Right.
So they'll go create 5 apps. Okay, hopefully this will work.
Right.
You know, hoping that I can sell this and move on to the next thing. I was watching this YouTube video of this one guy. He said he created 27 businesses. He failed, but he wouldn't give up. He was a millennial. At one time, that was it. He got the millions that he needed. And then even now, he still owns, I know, 10, 12 businesses. But he would not give up. He said, I cannot do corporate America the traditional way.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be that guy.
Right.
He always wanted to own his own business. But his family helped him, you know, along the way.
Mm-hmm.
He did do some, you know, got some investors. They invested some money. He lost some things, but he said, I would not give up. And I think that's the mindset of a lot of the millennials. They're like, you know what? I can't do this like my mom and papa. I'm not going to work there for 20 years at such and such corporation. I'm going to try this thing.
You know, corporate America will tell you, hey, why don't you just do this one thing good and you'll be okay. That's not today. You really have to have multiple money streams to do what you really want to do until that you get that investor that knocks on your door. And hopefully with Penn and Playbook, we're going to show a lot of investors, they don't have to go knock on the door. All they got to do is look into the system, industry by industry by industry, and see all these businesses that they be like, oh my God, I didn't even know that this existed also. Because at the end of the day, and I mean, I'm always just transparent and real about it, you're not going to have a whole lot of African-American investors that's got billions of dollars to invest in your business. That's true. That's not going to happen. You know, now we're trying to turn that paradigm that we can become billion-dollar investors into different businesses and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you still got a lot of wealth that's on the sideline that's saying, I'm looking to deploy this money into a vehicle that I get a return on. If I know I can invest in all these businesses in Penn and they got contracts, i.e. with major corporations, Coke, Pepsi, Toyota, Frito-Lay, Microsoft, and this, that, and the other, why would I not invest in that? Right. You know, now somebody will knock at your door, but they're going to knock at your door through Penn, PlaybookInvestorsNetwork.com, but they're going to knock on your door and we're going to help you clean all this up. Clean it up to get you access to this over here, to the investors who are looking to deploy money. Money doesn't make money sitting on the sideline, just sitting. It ain't gonna make you any money. People have these family offices, and now most hedge funds are kind of going away. Family offices are popping up everywhere right now because they want to deploy their capital to make more money. They're looking for the company to make this book right here. They can go buy for $10 million and turn it into another $100 million. You know, that pen, that spring company we're talking about. Somebody gonna knock on that door for real and say, "Man, I want that spring because everybody got that springs." You know, we're going to turn it into $1 billion operation. So these are the things that we have to continue. And I challenge all of our partners to always talk about this stuff and keep putting the word out there because it's there. It really is there. And you guys have the ability, not picking on y'all right now, but you guys have the ability to change so many lives, you know, with your influence. You know, we've had our show talking about the influencers, right? We've had those shows, you know, we miss you, AD, by the way. We wish Antonio was here today. He's always here with us, but we hadn't heard his wisdom Barry White speech today. We ain't got Tracy on yet, but Tracy, he's coming. He's just had his surgery and he's a Hall of Fame, so he'll be here too.
Yeah.
But, to take the investor platform that has a lot of liquid cash in the sideline that they try, because let's face it, all the money's not really going to S&P because it's up and down now and it's volatile and you don't know if it's really going to work or it's not going to work. You don't know. Circuit City was going to be here forever, it's gone. Best Buy about to be gone. You didn't think Radio Shack was going to go, but we tried to tell them years ago, just like we said, change. You got to evolve with change now. If you stay stagnated just like the councils and stuff, it's going to go away. So you have to change. You have to evolve with millennials, with technology, all that stuff. So, these are things that we advocate like every day. And I know the fellas get tired of me beating them up, Shakira and Ron, and they're like, Ronnie, don't shut up. I said, I'm going to keep transferring this knowledge that we're talking about, right, Andrew? Right. We got to transfer this knowledge and all of y'all, so we continue to transfer this knowledge throughout that PN Global Network that we're getting ready to launch in Indiana, come back to Texas. So this is home for us.
All right.
Well, we just got pushed out the door for a while, so I will make sure Margot knows that. Tell Andrew.
Hey, you good.
Yeah, we are here. We just got pushed out to do some things, and we just kind of stayed with it. It was our platform to kind of just test.
Yeah.
Just keep testing.
No.
But, we can't do this type of work, with Penn, without the help of you guys.
Right.
You guys are certified to monitor business, even if they're millennial companies or not. I got certified, I'm a millennial. But at the same time, we got to get certified. We got to do it right. You got to get your business operations, you got to get the back office right because you need help.
Right.
And we always say, even to us as African American company, we always try to do it all we can. It's not going to happen.
And you got to bring it back to Texas because your big Toyota's here, headquarters.
Yep.
Liberty Mutual is here. FedEx is here. PepsiCo is here.
Right.
Texas is open for business. You have a lot of folks that are here to where it's time to bring it home.
No, we home.
I know. I'm just.
He's trying to kill you right now.
I'm trying to get it. But no, I'm just saying opportunity. Sometimes you got to put that idea out there and let it flow before you bring it back home. Because it's a lot of exposure here.
We wanted to make sure we got it right. When we came home, which we are home, we plan on doing all this. Like as soon as we do the Indiana launch, we come right back to Texas anyway. Yeah. But the thing was, we wanted to make sure we got it right because Texas is a huge state. Toyota's been my client for 13 years now, so I sometimes want to take a little credit for them moving here because I used to tell them all the time, it don't make sense for y'all to have TMA, TMS, and TEMA, and y'all don't communicate. Yeah. The same thing we talk about communication. Yeah. Y'all don't communicate, and nobody knows what nobody's doing. But lo and behold, Toyota One is now in Plano, and we still want to get paid too, by the way.
but I remember T-Mac in San Antonio.
Yeah, the trade show.
At the trade show,
right?
And him on the floor. I don't know if he'd been to an NMSDC.
No, that was the first one.
That was his first one. But to see T-Mac on the floor and his eyes open, it was a lot of business. Carter Brothers, Magic Johnson was the next. So it's a lot of athletes that were in business, but until you see it. But then not only when you didn't see the athlete, you saw everybody else that looked like you.
Yeah.
Successful with some big contracts. It made those folks think. I think, Magic can tell you if you ever heard his story, they wouldn't sell him TGI Fridays or coffee Starbucks. He said, no, that's not what you do. Basketball, you're great at that.
That's what you do.
But again, the door wasn't open to him until later. And
that's so crazy.
And you would
think it's crazy, but same thing goes with the entrepreneurial. They've been successful in business.
Right.
They've been in existence for 10 years or so. Mm-hmm. They go to the bank looking for capital. And it's, we see what you're doing, but not at this time. Why is it so difficult, for us to get there?
Yeah, preach.
Yeah, preach. But Magic had a great story. If you haven't heard it, I'm trying to find it. He'll tell you, and he had some great nuggets to wisdom. But he said, his first time out, it was no's across the board. Right. Like, I'm Magic Johnson. I really have money, So but why you
Like
won't sell me
Jay-Z
this?
song.
Yeah, and again, it was just that exposure. You didn't have the track record. They told Magic you didn't have a track record in there. But once Magic got into that vertical, and he has a great story about in California when with the TGI Fridays and in Starbucks, he said, okay, black people don't eat stones. You got to put some red velvet cake in there. And then he said, you got to change it up a little bit. But Starbucks wasn't really open, but it worked for him. He opened up the TGI Fridays, and he said, in the movie theater, he said, black people either they're going to dinner or they're going to a movie. 9 times out of 10, they're not doing both. Right. So if you put the TGI Friday in the movie theater, you're paying $10 for a hot dog anyway. So, if you put something quality there, you're going to have but Magic, but the great thing I think that Magic says is that, nobody's going to tell me that my business went under because I didn't know. He said, every day I have a report on my desk that tells me what all my businesses are doing. And we were at the conference. And before Magic spoke at breakfast, it was a piece of paper and a folder on his at his seat. He was serious about it. And you got to be serious about it. And all that to say, sometimes it's the exposure. If he weren't exposed to NMSDC, now he's there every year. Because his customers are there, his people are there. And but I always go back when T-Mac walked on that floor. It was just it was eye opening to say, not only did Rodney tell him, but for him to see it, it just turned. I remember that. We were hanging out.
He was like, I think he told the fellas too. He was like, he couldn't believe it. And the show kind of did this to him too. They came to him and kind of embraced him. Like, oh my God, Magic is magic, but at the time T-Mac was still hot too. It's great, and the show just kind of did that. Now we talked about this as well, but I had a lot of talks with Magic about all the things he did, and I'm kind of inspired by some of the things that didn't happen.
Right.
And the things that didn't happen is what Tracy and I started to talk about because I felt like the fellas didn't know. We didn't educate you guys on what Magic really did. I mean, there's a story to be told. He did it right. And he and I had this conversation. I know we talked about this. We had a conversation in Toronto. And I made a comment, and I still apologize, Magic, but I made a comment to, I think it was Yahoo Sports. And I was like, Magic did what he did, and he inspired a whole nation, right? But we didn't do enough to educate you young athletes on how to get in this game. And that was my problem. That was things that I wanted to do more with Tracy, being, somewhat a little bit older than you, Dane, but still a millennial in his own right, to be that voice. And then, of course, comes Doc, Dame, and all those fellas. I'm like, I got to get more guys that are younger, especially like Dame, young, Doc's a little older. Are you still millennial or not?
I'm out of it. I'm out.
He's out.
Still got a couple more months. He's still in there.
But I wanted to get the young voices to be able, because now the players are so young with a lot of money and really don't know what to do and stuff like that. So I said, man, we got to educate you guys on how y'all can be that voice for all the other peers that are coming behind you. Now, don't get me wrong, upon like really talking to you year after year after year and seeing you and how you roll and how you interact with all these businesses, I just said, well, man, that was more important. It kind of take precedence over the fellas because I said if they want it, y'all get it. You'll get it, and we'll expose you to it. But I knew that the minority business community, especially African American market, was struggling to gain access to capital. And I just saw it because being with Toyota, being with you guys, and seeing all this other stuff. I'm like, wow, we got to do something. We can get everybody under one house. How can we get everybody on that? And you guys can see all the businesses at one time, like you said with Tracy. And how can we get these other investors to see everything at one time? Like, oh my God, there's a whole plethora of businesses that just need a little bump to get to the next level. And then you can actually come to 10, 20, 30, 50, $100 million, and you sold it out, and built something else. So that was kind of, Magic inspired me to do more of that. It was more like competition. Okay, you didn't really do it, but you gave me a break to go ahead and gave me a vehicle to see your platform to go and teach everybody how to do it. And that's what it was. So.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, is when you talk about investing, well, they just want me for my money. I don't want to do that. But, in the off season, go sit with that CEO.
Yeah.
Go attend some meetings. So then, like you say, when you're driving in your car, you're looking at wow, I said to this meeting, this guy just got a check, contract for this much. What happens when, if, now I'm driving my car, I'm looking at that. What if I just had 10 people that do, car washes? Or 10 people that wash windows? Because like you say, now you're looking at everything's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? But again, I think sometimes we go after money, but sometimes we need to set those guys down to let them understand business too. Because they understood that early, then it's an easier sell. But
and that's the role. That's the role that Dane plays, Tracy plays, Doc plays, Antonio, and the other guys that are coming on the team. They play that role, to walk back into, the NFL, the Olympians, Mac and AD going back to the NBA. We've been looking for that right guy that believes in what we believe in too, to be that voice to go back into the MLB. I looked at Popeye Jones, played in the Mavericks. His son was at the Predators at the hockey league. Mm-hmm. But I think he's been in the league long enough that he really wants to be a businessman. So we're trying to find those voices.
Right.
They want to lead these guys, at least expose them.
Yeah.
If you get exposed and you see this stuff and you say, man, I am not content with just being a $10, $20, $100 million guy. I could be a $1 billion guy and create all these jobs. I know for a fact that kids that come up around the athletes, would be, like I said, the D-Rose in Chicago, you can stop some of that killing just by putting them in some job opportunities, right? We can stop something. You ain't gonna stop everything.
Right.
You ain't gonna stop everything, but you can stop something and give them the opportunity. So those are things, though, Andrew, we saw, and we were passionate about it, and we just kept trying to build this thing, and it's been a long process, 8 years of building this thing, and people, they were like, man, you're crazy. So now we're almost there.
Yeah.
We're almost there now, and we're excited about it. But, more importantly, we just want to expose the millennials to the opportunities so that they can, get off the streets, right? Stop going to jail, because it's going to get worse and worse. Every time you go to jail, it's going to be tough and tough for you to get a job. Right. Get trained, get some skill sets. Find some things you really want to do and we'll expose you to that. For the athlete entertainers, it was just like, hey, you're at the top. You're on TV. You're flying in you've been in I don't know how many countries. 23 countries?
Like 2 or 3.
He said 2 or 3. 2 or 3. But I mean, that's some serious exposure. 3-time Olympian right here. Been around the world and back pretty much, right? Everybody ain't gonna get that kind of exposure.
Right.
But now that you can turn things, like you say, into a business, and we can educate so many other people to just turn some of this around. Like I say, we're not going to be the savior to everything. That's not going to happen. Yeah. But can we save a few millennials? Yes. Can we save a few businesses from going away? Because when the economy crashed, man, a lot of minority businesses went away. And they were good businesses. They just couldn't gain no access to capital whatsoever. I, too, was the same one. You can't walk into the bank, even with some relationships.
Right.
You couldn't walk in the bank and get a line of credit. You could not.
And you got to be, at that time, we weren't diverse. We were good on one thing. But I think when you go back to the folks, we got to give these kids a vision back.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, when, like you say, when we were growing up, you asked us, well, we want to be a policeman, a fireman, a lawyer, a doctor, those are candidates, but we had something to shoot for. When I go into the, to the look at the now, what you want to do when you grow up, they don't know.
Do you think it's because there's so many opportunities, or that they just don't know what direction to go in? Or is it, how our parents said, okay, even if you don't know right away, at least my parents said, you're going to college, get your basics out of the way, you're going to figure it out. Right. You're going to college. So I knew I was going to college. But a lot of the kids, do you think it's because they've been exposed to so much, they're overwhelmed with,
what you say? Yeah, I was gonna say. So your daughter's 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know what you ask her? You know what she would say there?
It's changed a couple of times, right? But yeah, she's narrowed it down.
Okay, so
but only
what
because
did she say she wanted to do?
She now wants to be a gymnast.
Okay.
And she's like shooting at Doc to help her.
Oh yeah, she did something.
She's pretty serious about that. But also, they actually had career week this week. I said, well, Essence, that's great. You can be a gymnast, but what are you going to do after your career is over? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, you can't be a gymnast. Like, when you're 55, 60, you're going to be out there tumbling. Oh, I didn't think about that. I said, so what are you going to do? And she said, well, I can open my own gym and maybe teach. And I said, okay, that might work out.
Cool.
So, I'm trying to get her to think past just doing this one little thing and, exposing her to new things.
I think the kids nowadays, I think part of that is, you're right, there's so many things, because you got to think, when you were coming up, the glorified things when you were a kid was to be a firefighter,
a police officer,
doctor, lawyer. Those are the
Right.
glorified jobs or occupations. Mm-hmm. Well, nowadays that's not necessarily have to be the glorified. They're not. They're still glorified, but they're not the only glorified occupations.
Right.
You know, like you could be a movie star, you could be a gymnast. Like like people wouldn't think about being a gymnast like probably when y'all were growing up, but nowadays with Gabby Douglas and some of these girls that are on TV. Being a gymnast is glorified. You could be on the Wheaties box. You get to go meet all these celebrities and whatnot. So now that that's something cool, people aspire to do that. And I think that nowadays that could be the thing. It's just there's so many different opportunities. A lot of kids don't know because it's like, shoot, I could be anything now, and still make a lot of money and be a glorified position.
Yeah, and you're right. I think you're right. When I talk to you, they're like, well, I want to be a barber, I want to be a beautician, I'm like, well, why don't you just own the shop?
Right.
And then you put 10 chairs in there, charge everybody $300 a week, and then when you do hair, it's gravy. But again, we gotta change the mindset. So my sons, they'll tell you, what you gonna do? Well, I'm either going to college or the military. My 8-year-old tell you that. It's embedded that it's college or military. You gotta do something. You gotta get some discipline. You got to learn to live on your own. You can, the military, outside of war, the things, but the military teaches you some things. If you don't go to college, you got to have structure. You're going to always have to listen to somebody. I'm going to own my own business. You're still going to have customers that's going to tell you what to do. So don't ever think you own your own business. You're going to call all the shots. You got to listen to the customer, or you won't have no business. So yeah. So and then I was looking at the tennis player last night on Jimmy Kimmel. She's like, I looked at the check, it was $3.7 million.
That's what she made for the.
That's what she made for the year. And so how you gonna fight against that?
Right.
Yeah, she went out there and won. She was 597. But now she got a $3.7 million check. And they had, Jimmy Kimmel, you gonna retire? She's like, no. Yeah, but
have to be the best in the world to make this.
Yeah, but the story, you were 597th and you won. It's just that opportunity. Yeah. But it's the work that goes into it. Right. She's gonna tell you she didn't have a chance going in there. Now her mindset was there, but
that's how you back to the process.
Yeah,
right. It's the process, and then understanding the process.
Understanding the process.
That's the big thing we do. It's understanding the process. I can tell you the process all day long. When you fully understand and then try it, if you haven't understand it, you probably more eager to give it a shot or find out, that actually ain't for me.
Right.
I thought it was that process.
And that's it.
Way more complicated than what I thought.
And a lot more work.
A lot more work. Yeah, a lot
more work.
I don't want to work. I don't want to do that type of work. I can still follow the process.
But whether you're a millennial or not,
most
people don't want to go through the process. They just, you know what? This is good over here. Can I just get to the end result? No, you can't. You can get there, but you may not maintain and keep it for very long. So you've got to go through the process.
You got to go through the process. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I said that when it comes to sports, and at the end of the day, I was talking to some younger track athletes, and I was saying, man, you just see the finished product. You don't know what all went behind this, me making a team or making it to the Olympics. You didn't see me traveling and missing flights, and all you saw is 8 people lined up, and I made a team. It was great.
It was great.
You saw the end. You're infatuated with the end result, not understanding the process.
Don't even know. Almost didn't even make it to that race.
Right, I showed up and went straight to the track. I had my sights in my back. And I got no story.
But there's some struggle behind it. We talked. I think the Black MBAs had me out one time talking about minority businesses, and I told them the Dave Stewart story where he said I ran my company on a credit card. They were repoing my car outside in front of the employees.
Yeah, Dave's $6 billion by the way now.
He's $6 billion now, but his great story. So he tell you all that. So they were like, you know what? I work for PepsiCo. I got a great check. He's telling me I gotta go all the way down to here. Let me talk to the franchise guy. How can I buy a Chick-fil-A? You know, because it's the struggle. Everything you do is going to be a struggle. And they would tell you, I mean, they repoed my car. I'm the owner.
Yeah.
You know, outside of my building while all my employees looking. So you think we gonna make payroll? You know what we do? We gonna pay us on Friday?
Hey, we feel you, brother.
But
Dave and I got a war together. So
but the whole thing is a struggle.
Yeah.
And again, we gonna have to struggle.
Yeah, Dave's at Worldwide Technology. For those who don't know, Dave's doing at Worldwide Technology. Yeah, it's a heck of a story.
And,
but we also got those stories too.
Hey,
I've been high in my car. But anyway, I mean, you know, man, this is what gets us up every morning.
Right.
You know, yeah, we all want to monetize and get to the next level, but to get up every morning to be passionate about, you know, helping minority businesses just understand the game and get to the next level and gain access to capital, helping millennials understand that there are opportunities for them. You know, that's what we want to do. You know, turning that kind of change that paradigm shift with the athletes who, you know, 90% African American athletes who have a lot of liquidity that we can change. You know, we can just change the mindset and expose them to a lot of things they never saw before. So, you know, the chances are looking pretty good on our side. You know, you still have to go out there, Andrew, and educate that whole investment community.
Yes.
That didn't know anything about, you know, minority business certification or why you are a minority business, why you are woman-owned business or government or LGBTQ, you know, business. They just didn't know that, but it's happening. But millennials are also investors now. You know, some of them are investors, and especially going back again to African Entertainers, to a lot of millennials who are multi-millionaires.
Yeah.
They're going to become investors.
And we have to, again, for us at the council, we have to explain to them how important diversity is, because they went to South Lake. You know, everybody was different.
Or USC.
Or USC.
Dang, with USC.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. That's the whole thing.
TCU.
But millennials, they don't see color. Everybody's there. They went to school with everybody, so they didn't understand the background to why the council is in existence. You know, I know Jim. Why wouldn't, you know, he do business with me? You know, I just don't understand that. You know, we went to school together and all that. It's different. And so with the millennials, it's not that we're going to. We just need to educate you so you can know what to look for when you get into that spot. So when you walk into that meeting, you know them, but it's different on the inside. You got to have, and that's why these programs and what we do, what you do, is important, because you're going to need that capital.
Absolutely.
You're going to need that opportunity. You're going to need to walk in there and know what's going on.
Capital is so important, but we always say that capital is not to pay off all your bills and everything. It's for human capital. You're going to hire people to help you grow and scale that business. Or you're going to buy the right equipment. And if you buy the right equipment, you're still going to have to buy it operator. You got to pay for that operator to come operate the equipment. So those are things that have to happen. But again, coming to an end, for PN Global News, we have had a wonderful guest and a mentor to me too, Andrew Nash from Dallas Fort Worth Minority Business Council. We thank you so much for coming out with us.
Thank you, and I know, and again, I want to give you kudos, because I know, 9 years ago you had a vision, and it took 8 years to bring it to fruition, to where you can go out and like other minority business owners that are part of the council. You know, you got a story. You know, when they came there, you thought it was instant, but you got a testimony. That 8 years later, you know, somebody would have told you that, you was like, no, I'll do something else. It's going to take 8 years, get here. But you stayed the course. And with any business owner, regardless, you got to stay the course.
Yeah, you're right, man.
You got to stay the course. Much is given, you know.
Much is required.
I'm learning that really well.
But thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming out. You know, always. Doc, pleasure, brother.
Always.
Shakita, thank you guys. We're going to actually, next week, I think we'll start to continue to travel back. And I haven't even told y'all this, but we'll probably start to travel back to Houston to go back on the set to do the show. And I couldn't get the actual name. I know it was K1D Radio, and the name had changed to, I want to say KVIL something. but the dial's changed, and I think it's also going to FM. So we still will be back on the network, and we'll still be Facebook Live and Twitter and all that stuff. Also, you go out and view YouTube, PN Global News, and we also set up our Roku channel, but I don't have actual numbers for the Roku channel just yet today, but we will have a Roku channel set up that we can actually be seen in Africa and India and all those other countries and stuff, because this is well needed around the country. But the more people we start to bring in, the more subject matter experts, we'll get the word out. Some people will follow our lead, some won't, but it's up to you. So again, thank you from all of us at PN Global News, Playbook Investors Network.com, AD, Tracy, y'all have a good week. Listeners, have a great week. Viewers, have a great week. And we'll be back on time, 10 o'clock next Thursday to 12 noon. And I got to make sure I do that right, because Miss Tate and Miss Heights are all over us about getting all that data out on time. So we will get it all out on time to make sure that all the viewers, all the listeners know exactly who's coming on the show, who will be there. As always, I have Andrew Nash. You welcome anytime.
I like that.
Anytime.
I'm always on the other side, too.
Yeah. Yeah, you
I'm
need to
always
get
put
certified.
my question in there.
Right.
I wanna know.
Right. You need to get certified. Make sure you guys contact Andrew Nash at the Dallas Fort Worth Minority Business Council. So again, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week.
Sorry. Hi.